In a sudden political twist in Tripura, the BJP appointed Dr. Manik Saha as the new Chief Minister of the state, replacing the Chief Minister Biplab Kumar just a year ahead of the assembly polls in the state. Now, after a hurriedly called for BJP Legislative Party meeting, Mr. Deb announced Mr. Saha's name and said that he would extend cooperation to the new Chief Minister. Biplab took to Twitter to congratulate his successor and said that Tripura will prosper under Prime Minister Modi's vision and leadership. I was a common worker of the party and I will continue to be so, Mr. Saha told reporters after being named the next Chief Minister. And Biplab, meanwhile referring to his future, said that the party wants him to work to strengthen the organization. Remember, Biplab is not the only BJP Chief Minister to have resigned a year before the elections. In 2021, BJP ruled Uttarakhand, Gujarat and Karnataka witnessed similar leadership changes. And this move in Tripura comes amidst reports that the BJP leadership is likely to change Basavara Bommai as the Chief Minister of Karnataka ahead of the polls. However, there's no official word from the Saffron Party on that front. This change today at the helm also comes as the TMC, fresh from its victory in Bengal, is emerging as a key challenger in Tripura. And while the Congress leadership is meeting in Udaipur in yet another attempt to put its house in order to take on the BJP. So, a last-minute course correction and admission of failure of governance in Tripura. Is it too little, too late? Joining us on Left, Right and Centre, Shushmita Dev, Rajya Sabha MP and spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, Professor Gaurav Vallabh, spokesperson of the Congress, Alok Vats, leader of the BJP, and Manish Kaushik, election in charge of the AAP for the North East. Shushmita Dev, to you first. You have been given responsibility of strengthening the TMC in the state of Tripura, and clearly it seems bitten hard in Bengal. The BJP seems to be twice shy in Tripura now. They're hoping to pull off an Uttarakhand in Tripura.
Well, that's what they're hoping for.
Doesn't that worry you? It worked in Uttarakhand.
I mean, I know what you're saying, fair enough. But you see, Tripura is not Uttarakhand because BJP has no history in Tripura, Sarah. You have to realize it's not a party that came up in Tripura organically. You know, it's literally, they went to Tripura and took people from here, there, everywhere and put together a party, pumped in a lot of money and formed a government. They went from 0 to actually 36. So most of their leaders have come from other parties, whereas whereas the other parties there have been there from much before, Trinamool Congress included, although they were not successful in their past thing. So I think you can't compare Tripura to other states. But having said that, what's important for us to realize is in 2018 it is not Biplab that people voted for. Biplab was a persona non grata. No one knew him. Yes, he was the state president. But people voted for Prime Minister Modi. He was the brand. The promises were made, making his face the credibility and the guarantee of those promises made, which the government didn't deliver. 4 years, they let it happen. They watched it. Now the anti-incumbency is too high. And I thought that this was the only way they thought they could get rid of the anti-incumbency. But the loss of faith and the loss of confidence is vis-a-vis brand Modi and not so much Biplab Deb. Of course, Biplab Deb added to it because he's been the butt of jokes for many things and very frivolous, and his governance, delivery of governance is very poor. So I don't think much is going to change because people have lost faith in all the promises that were made under brand Modi. That's what I feel.
So you're going to be taking on Prime Minister Modi again in these elections, but let's bring in Alok Vats. Is this not an admission of poor governance over the past 4 years, and will it work? So you have a move to stem infighting, Mr. Vats, but please take a look at this video. Let's just play this out there. You have your Minister, Ram Prasad Paul, and this is a video going viral, sir. Protesting the developments today. There was a fight among your MLAs. Mr. Paul broke a few chairs. Can we pull up that video so we can see it? Finally, the situation calmed, but there was video of him screaming, banging a chair on the ground. He reportedly wanted a different, the Deputy Chief Minister to be the next Chief Minister of the state. Is this going to work to help quell this, the infighting situation in Tripura? Doesn't seem to be.
Well, Sarah, I'm surprised to see that something of this happened in BJP cadres. Maybe this man was brought from outside and he didn't know our discipline. But changing of guards, that is the right we have with us. And we have changed guards at 2-3 other places also. And there has been no murmuring and things are going very well. In fact, we have got repeated. We have won the elections again. And here also, if there was something the High Command thought that changing of the guard would bring in some better prosperity and performance, then what is the harm?
So as Sushmita Dev says, Tripura is not other states. So what works in other states where the High Command can take a decision, it's all a completely centralized decision. According to Sushmita Sen, this, it's not going to work in Tripura. So you're surprised?
Okay, that is her thinking. But as she said, we are not very old in Tripura. I agree with her. But we were not very old in India also. We were 2 people, just 2 MPs. And from there we have become the world's largest party. So she should be thankful that we are growing everywhere in every nook and square of India. We have reached Tripura, we have reached Meghalaya, we have reached Assam, and we are being repeated in these places. So our performance is being liked by the people. And yes, as she rightly said, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, today the country is changing course. And we will definitely make it a point to win back again in Tripura. She should be rest assured. TMC will not be able to make much ground there.
Okay, the TMC won't be able to make much ground there. Professor Gaurav Vallabh, let's get the Congress in. You have the TMC tweeting that folks at the BJP are very rattled by what the TMC has achieved in this state. The AAP is tweeting, AAP's entry into the state has brought the first good news and there will be more to come. Meanwhile, the Congress left out in the cold?
See, ma'am, as time and again we had pointed out, this is a mockery of democracy. There is nothing called as state BJP governments. All state governments are also controlled and managed by 2 people sitting in Delhi. The gentleman from BJP was right. Earlier also there were 2 people, today also there are 2 people only who are controlling all the BJP state governments. I am damn sure that the MLAs of Tripura were not aware of this. They were never asked of this. That is what we are saying, that Bharatiya Janata Party is against the foundation of democracy. And I hope now Biplab Dev will be the new Science and Technology Minister and he will give the training to mechanical engineers how to crack civil services, because he told that mechanical engineers can't join civil services. Or he might give a new invention that internet was invented before Mahabharata, because as per his earlier statement, the internet was invented during Mahabharata. And he may give another statement that Jats and Punjabis are having less brains.
This is the reality
so
of
who will have high brain, I
the
don't
reality
know.
On the ground today, that whether you appreciate it or not, the BJP is a centralized party command. The decisions were made in the center. The former Chief Minister was in Delhi yesterday. Pictures of him meeting with Amit Shah. This was obviously cleared from the top. That is the reality of the ground. My question to you, sir, is where is the Congress? The Congress, meanwhile, trying to reinvent itself. Again, Mr. Jakar quits the Congress today, says goodbye and good luck.
Congress is on the streets of Tripura. Congress is on the streets of Agartala. If you will see, Madam from TMC is also aware of this fact. That is the reason Congress is taking the issues of Tripura's people. That Congress is raising the issues of the common youth of Tripura, because they are moving pillar to post searching jobs. We are trying to give remedy of this consistently high inflation. Congress is trying to give the remedy of consistently high unemployment rates. Congress is trying to give a message to the people of Tripura that how we can again achieve a high GDP growth. So don't say that where is Congress? Congress is on the streets of Tripura. I hope people of this country will see the BJP model of governance, which is against constitution and against the ethos of democracy. MLAs are not aware that
I'll
Chief
come back
Minister
to
is
you.
removed.
I just want to bring in Manish Kaushik, from the AAP, in charge of the AAP's campaign there in Tripura. Mr. Kaushik, just 9 months left for the assembly elections. Just 2 days ago, we were all reporting that the Aam Aadmi Party is kicking off its membership drive across the state, following appointments of zonal and district in charges. That was the big news of the week. But the bigger news now is this change, the BJP's, change at the helm. So AAP, just as you are about to get, hit the ground running, carpet pulled out from under you. You're now against a different chief minister.
Oh yes, and actually, yeah, 2 days back only we announced that we are going in a big way in Tripura through our membership drive, and this happened. Honestly, Sarah, we are not surprised because for last 3 months we are in Tripura, and with the great hope in 2018, people thought that BJP will do something, but they just shattered the hopes of the people of Tripura.
But sir, my question is, the BJP constantly keeps everybody on their toes, like AAP, as you've come in.
No, but we are on our toes since 2011, actually. It's not new for us, actually. Like, we did the same thing in Delhi, we did the same thing in Punjab recently. Now we are moving ahead towards Northeast as well. But the move what they did today, if they could have done 2 years back, they should have removed Biplab 2 years back. He just couldn't rise to the hopes of the people. And what Sushmita Devji is saying, it was not just what BJP won. It was not Modi ji who won. People were tired of the hooligans and the Gundaism of CPM, of their 25 years of regime. And this current government, and I am telling you with full responsibility, this current BJP Biplab Dev government was more Gunda-gardi government than the previous CPM government. So people are really tired. So we are not surprised. Either BJP removed Biplab Dev or people remove Biplab Dev after 11 months. It's more or less the same thing. So it's they have already accepted the defeat. And you go to the ground zero in Tripura, you will find how people are just...
The BJP is waking up. Not just do you have the TMC on your heels, you also have the AAP, nibbling away at your ankles. So your only hope is that the TMC and the AAP voters will negate each other. Mr. Vats, 30 seconds.
Sarah, the AAP leader says he is already giving declaration of what is going to happen in the outcome of the election. He should know. We changed guard in Gujarat, we changed guard in Uttaranchal, and we were repeated back. Where were they in those elections? So please, if we try to maintain things and bring better working conditions, this right we have. We have so many players. You may be short of players, but we have a vast number of players who can come and play for the people. So don't worry, we will be back again with much stronger majority, and our own people will be there to form the government and take the...
All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This big change at the helm in Tripura, will it pay off? Thank you for that. But I want to quickly go across, try and get our viewers up to date with the other big story of the day. Citing a threat to food security, the Modi government today prohibited the export of wheat. Now, according to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, this decision was taken because of the sudden spike, or in view of the sudden spike in global prices of wheat arising out of many factors. So the move to ban wheat exports comes after a huge crop loss due to the heat wave that we've seen in March. The government is also under pressure to rein in inflation that has surged to 7.79% in April. But significantly, this order comes 2 days after the government decided to send trade delegations to a number of countries to explore possibilities of the export of wheat. So, on left, right and centre, we're asking a U-turn. In just 2 days, on the 12th of May, the government announced a 10 million ton target for exports of wheat in 2022-2023. Then 48 hours later, you have a ban on the export of wheat by the Commerce Ministry. A ban on wheat. Is this a knee-jerk reaction? Will this ban actually help in controlling the rising prices of wheat in the domestic market? We're all feeling the pinch. We have joining us on left, right and centre Ajay V. Jakar, Chairman of the Bharat Krishak Samaj, Professor Gaurav Vallabh, spokesperson of the Congress, still staying on with us. Thank you, Gaurav. And Sukhpreet Singh, leader of the BJP. But Ajay V. Jakar, first I want to ask you, how does this actually impact our farmers?
Thank you for this opportunity. I think restrictions on agriculture exports, like wheat this time, are an indirect tax on farmers everywhere in the world. Farm gate prices get subdued artificially by policy, and farmers are unable to benefit from the rising commodity prices. And they still have to pay higher prices for diesel, they have to pay higher prices for fertilizers, for labor and other produce. So it's an indirect tax. And such export bans is the reason why farmers don't trust market reforms, and market reforms fail. Now, what happens in the United States is when farmers suffer a loss because of government policy, the United States government compensates those farmers. And I really hope that India's policy will mature to those levels soon. Farmers are calling me up and asking me to tell the government to compensate them. Now, my advice to the government is that the government should give a 200 rupees bonus to those farmers who will deliver to government centers in the days coming, in the coming days. And that will help enough wheat will be mopped up for India's requirement. I think that's the way forward we must be going.
No, but the government says this ban will help controlling the rising price of wheat in the domestic market. Please clarify, explain to us, Mr. Jakar, is that true? How did we get here?
So this is absolutely true. Prices will get subdued, and that's the problem, because farmers will suffer. We are always scapegoats for consumers living in cities, for the middle class, for the upper classes. Now, wrong estimates of production and analytics by the government agencies has led to misplaced policy decisions where we stand today. Now, prices are definitely going to get subdued, and I'll take a minute to explain it. There's 2.5 million tons of wheat lying of the exporters lying at the ports. There's a 1.2 million tons lying with traders across the country, and 1 lakh farmers have wheat stocks, 1 lakh farmers at least have wheat stocks with them today. Now, all this stock prices will crash because the wheat that the traders and exporters have is on short-term credit, and this credit, they will need to dump their stocks immediately into the market because it's worth around 10,000 crores, $1.5 billion, and that will subdue prices. And the prices may even come down below MSP rates, and it's disastrous. The wheat prices are already down since yesterday. I think so. They're already down since today morning by around 200 rupees. I really think the government needs to announce a bonus, an immediate bonus for people. And it's important to know that the government exporters were incentivized and asked by the government to export as much as they can. And the worst part is that when government comes up with such policies, in future when prices soar, traders will be reluctant to buy from farmers at high prices. Traders will discount the risk before paying farmers. So it's a long-term loss for policy and for farmers.
Sukhpreet Singh, please respond over here. Yes, this may control the rising price of wheat, but there is a long-term effect. There is a fallout to this. The farmers have been left out to dry, and first and foremost, a complete knee-jerk reaction. One day the government says this, 48 hours later they do something completely different. What's going on?
Most of the farmers have already sold their wheat. Only few big farmers and the big merchants, those are hoarding this. It is great impact on them. The ban will crush attempt to hoard Indian wheat for price manipulation. It will counter food inflation also. And it is like, the government don't want wheat trade to happen in an unregulated manner.
All right, to give you benefit of doubt, let's say we were to believe you, but Mr. Singh, why a 2-day U-turn? If the government was so aware of this, why not? You would have known this 2 days ago.
It is nothing to, it is nothing like a U-turn. Government is saying it is not exactly banned. Government is ensuring fair and proper use of wheat stocks. It is because ये पहली पुरानी गलती जो UPA 1 ने करी थी 2007 में, जब उन्होंने वीट को बैन किया था,
2007 के wheat, we're talking back to 2007, Mr. Singh.
आप सुनिए मैम, 2007 में इन्होंने सेम गलती करी थी, इन्होंने एक्सपोर्ट को खुला छोड़ दिया, उसके बाद दुगने प्राइसेस पे इन्होंने वापस लिया उस वीट को, तो वो गलती गवर्नमेंट ना करे तो उसमें बुरा क्या है?
All right, so we are learning from the Congress's mistakes, but why did you send that trade delegation abroad to talk about, to explore the options of export? But Gaurav Vallabh, where the BJP learning, admitting that they are learning from the Congress's mistakes.
Government exactly ban नहीं किया government ने.
Ma'am, please, ma'am, this is another example of policy paralysis, policy inconsistency, and anti-farmer policy of BJP.
See,
and I will give one-liner for each
Mr.
one of
Singh,
them.
please let him finish.
I am having, please, I am having few statements of Prime Minister who asked 70 years में क्या हुआ? अरे पिछले 70 दिनों में 4 स्टेटमेंट दे दिए प्रधानमंत्री जी ने. On March 16, Prime Minister says India is not moving to curb wheat exports. On April 13, Prime Minister says can feed world if WTO allows. On May 5, Prime Minister says ensure India emerges as world source of quality food grain. On May 14, Prime Minister says that we are going to ban the export of wheat. So this is a clear example of policy paralysis and policy inconsistency of the Modi government. Now the third thing which I said, it is an anti-farmer government, because on the one hand they are not ensuring 100% MSP for the wheat. They are not giving legal guarantee of MSP on the wheat. On the other side, how a farmer can get a benefit of high prices of wheat, because government felt अरे इससे तो किसानों का फायदा हो जाएगा, बंद करो, रोको. We don't want to give benefit of this to the farmers, because Modi government had only one policy.
All right.
27 rupees per day farmer is earning by agriculture in
30 seconds to you, Sukhpreet Singh, quick response. This is this anti-farmer tag keeps coming back and gets stuck like Velcro to the BJP. Quick response, and then I want to go to Mr. Jhakkar. Last word to Mr. Jhakkar.
मैं सिर्फ कांग्रेस के स्पोक्सपर्सन से सिर्फ इतना पूछना चाहता हूं कि इनको चिदंबरम का,
we don't have time, just give your quick response.
1 एकड़ में 5 करोड़ की वीट ये कांग्रेस वाले पैदा कर सकते हैं. दिस इज हाउ दे अर्न. मिस्टर चिदंबरम की जो डिक्लेरेशन में था, or most of,
Sir, this is becoming a political tutu-meme between the BJP and the Congress. So let me just go to Ajay Jhakkar in the interest of the time of our viewers. Mr. Jhakkar, how is this going to play out? Because Mr. Singh says this is actually going to help prevent inflation from rising. So please speak. How will this affect all of us as the common man? We are running our household kitchens. How will this affect us?
Only thing Mr. Singh has said that's sensible is that inflation is rising, and this will help that. But my question as a farmer to this nation and to this government is, how will you compensate farmers for the loss that we will suffer?
So and the government has to take tough decisions. Inflation is rising. So would you say?
Let me finish.
Sir, I am also from the farmer
family. One minute. Mr. Jhakkar is saying that it will help control inflation.
You are in theoretical, I am in practical. I am from farmer family. I know.
No. Please, Mr. Singh, let Mr. Jhakkar finish.
Listen,
please let Mr. Singh, let him, Mr. Jhakkar finish.
Yeah.
Even if there is a loss to, there is a loss to over 1 lakh farmers who are holding wheat, and there is a loss to traders. Both the losses should not happen. If the traders suffer a loss, it is no good thing, because traders
No. This is
someone speak.
Mr. Singh, please. Mr. Singh, 30 seconds. Please let him finish.
See, even traders need to make a profit. Otherwise, why will they come to the market to buy from farmers? You really, I think so. This spokesperson needs to do his homework before coming on the TV.
You support hoarding. It means you are supporting.
All right. So there is a long-term impact of this, which the government has to take into consideration. This could be setting a precedent. It could affect the way traders and farmers react going forward, says Mr. Jhakkar. So the government needs to compensate the farmers here for this U-turn made over 48 hours. Thank you all for joining us on Left, Right and Centre. We're completely out of time. Thank you for watching.